Hey Taurus, I'm Empress Rose and welcome to your reading. These are general readings. So take what works, what applies, what doesn't. Check your sun, moon, rising, and Venus for other information. And also contact me for personal reading if you'd like something a little more specific to your situation. So all these cards are pre-shuffled very thoroughly and prepared and prayed over and all that stuff. So we're going to start with the Oracle Mystical Moments deck and see what we're going to get here with these little cards. All right, what do we have for Taurus this week? What's the message for Taurus? Oh, perfect. All right. Yes, I love how these flipped out. They seemed very clear, specific. Okay, we have Lorelei here. So this is a little bit of an immature energy here. She's a mermaid, so this has to deal with our emotions. She's a little bit of fish out of water right now. She has a lot of control and a lot of power, and she definitely likes it. These other people are freaking out. So oftentimes I read this card as being an immature energy, an immature emotional energy that's sort of jerking everybody around. Today I'm getting a little bit of a different vibe, though. I'm getting that she's just in control and she's liking it. She's not really actively doing anything. It's just these other little fuckers over here don't like somebody being in control. I mean, but what was in control before? The wind? Come on. Like, she's fine. She's just sitting there. But they didn't necessarily agree to this. So that's a little bit of an issue. She's pulled up their anchor and they're a little concerned about what her next move is. I think she's just enjoying playing with them. And from her perspective, this is a toy. She's playing with it. She's not doing anything wrong. From their perspective, they're completely freaking way the fuck out about this. I think really unstable emotional journey that they don't necessarily trust. They don't trust this girl to have their best interest at heart, because already her actions of sort of non-consensually pulling up this anchor do have them legitimately concerned. She may not do anything with that power, but she definitely has that power, and it's very disconcerting to everybody else in this scenario. So this could be you, or this could be someone in your situation, and you're one of these people freaking out in the boat. And then we have a change of seasons. So this is like all of the seasons changing. There is summer, there's winter, there's spring, there's fall. And this is a peaceful vibe as this whole thing twirls and swirls around you. So in both of these, we have a youngish girl being very peaceful. But this one has a lot of power, and this one's a lot more passive. And the power she has is simply just within, while this sort of uncontrollable, the world is just massively changing around her, and she doesn't have control over that. So maybe you are one of the people in this boat, because the only thing she can control is herself. And she's very calm. She's just very calmly watching all of this stuff swirl and change around her. This is every single season changing at once. Like the fall and spring are the seasons of change, but we're also got winter and summer in there, all the seasons. So change of seasons. I think they should say change of all seasons. So everything's just changing, and she's just very calm in the middle of it, very centered, very grounded, watching it all happen. There are some doves of peace here. Also, so I think this is a real message about peace within chaos, and this is a real message about somebody else got the power and control. So peace within chaos, and somebody's got more power. Some very immature energy has a lot of power right now. So we're going to move to our Moonology deck, and I'm still pretty new to this deck. Not 100% sure how these cards want to come out, but I've really loved working with this deck. Its messages are clear, but also not as clear as they seem on the surface sometimes. Well, Blue Moon, believe in the impossible. So something incredibly unusual is going to happen. And I'm going to say this massive change of all the seasons is what's going on here. So very unusual. Believe in the impossible. Believe in miracles. Believe that something beyond what you've been able to imagine can happen. And I think this is saying have peace within that. There is this immature energy that's usually jerking these around and creating so much chaos. Yeah, she's got a lot of power and she's immature energy, but she could really do something kind of really different that no one was expecting. You think you know where this is going. Here she's going to topple this thing and toss all these sailors out. But how do we know this path isn't what she's done here, pulling up anchor, isn't... How do we know that that's worse than what the weather was going to do? How do we know that? We don't. So there's a lot of unknown here. There's a lot of upheaval, change, unknown, unanchored energy here. And one of the cool things about when things are in chaos and totally is anything can happen. It's this liminal state where nothing's defined yet. So you're in a situation where everything's kind of changing, everything's up in the air, and nothing's defined yet. And that means that so many cool things can come into that kind of energy, that this unsettled seasons of change, it's very unsettled and anything can happen. So I think this is what's saying anything, including the impossible, including something that you never dreamed would happen. Possibly, hopefully, this is my favorite, things I never even thought of or imagined. I have a bit of an overactive imagination, so it's really cool when life surprises me, because it's like, wow, of the 4,000 scenarios I imagined coming out of this, that was somehow not one of them, and I love it. So believe in the impossible, Blue Moon, something really unusual and is coming your way that you don't... And this change of seasons and this chaos and this things being upended, it's going to allow this to come in. That is cool. All right, we're moving to the Santa Muerte deck, obviously, but thought I'd announce that in case you weren't aware. Santa Muerte deck is the main deck for our main body of this reading. All right. What do we have for Taurus? Taurus, this is your past, this is your present, your inner landscape, what's at issue, the environment, to-do list, and a possible outcome. I think your possible outcome is mimicking this, believe in the impossible. Maybe. All right, in your recent past, we have this Five of Pentacles. So normally this would be like an outsider energy, but in this deck, it's a moving forward energy, step by step. Just keep moving, keep going, stay focused, step by step. That's what this is in your recent past. You've had to take things just step by step by step by step. It's not reflected in this like chaotic upheaval situation, but in your recent past, this is what you've been doing, step by step by step. Okay. All right. Okay, and in your present situation, you have this Seven of Pentacles. So this is calculating, figuring things out. You may be figuring things out in this change of seasons, where this change of seasons, it looks like it's probably coming towards you. So this is calculations. This is, you got your little abacus, you got these little brains on these skulls on this abacus. You're thinking things through. You're like that meme of the lady with all the math problems. That's sort of what you're doing. You're making calculations and thinking things through and trying to figure things out, trying to see the bigger picture, trying to understand the details, trying to just figure things out. What's going on out here? What's all going on? Seems like a pretty futile effort, though, I'm going to say, just with all this chaos going on. I'm not sure how much calculations you can do, but you're very focused on that right now. You want to calculate, you want to figure it out, you want to get the logical conclusion, the correct answer to the math problem. Yeah, you were trying to figure out, maybe you're doing some spreadsheets, some budgeting. There's been this step-by-step process. These are pentacles, so these might be dealing with money, might be dealing with work. You know, in this, it's a farming vibe, so you're maybe calculating up like, okay, we spent this much on seed, this much on tractor juice or gas, diesel. And, you know, and so then if we sell it this much, we'll make that. So you're figuring out your profit margins, where you're going to put your energy, where you're going to invest things, where you're going to, how much you're going to reinvest, that kind of thing. And it's been this just plodding step-by-step process. In your inner landscape, also, you have the Hanged Man. So this is a little bit of like the chaos going on around you and you holding still, sort of deer in the spotlight, in the headlights kind of thing of like, okay, I'm paused here. What is going on? So there is this like sense here in the Hanged Man of the chaos all around you. There's toxicity there, and then there's time, there's things growing, there's wind, there's, what is it? Is those pumpkins? Okie dokie. Maybe some tomatoes. I don't know what's back there. But there's fruit back there, but it's unpicked. And there's a storm raging. There's lots of wind and rain. But you're hanging out. You're hanging out. You're sort of this vibe here of this whole thing is raging around you. And you're calmly, or supposed to be calmly in the middle. You're opening your third eye here, getting in touch with your intuition, trying to understand things. And Hanged Man is fruit's not ready yet. You are fruit. You are ripening. You can't move forward. It's going to be very futile to be picked before you're ready. So this is you hanging out. This is in your inner landscape is finding peace right here. Well, this is doing its thing, but inside you, and it might feel like you're a little stuck, but you're not. You're changing. Just you haven't manifested that change in the real world yet. So, oh yeah, that reminds me of like, I did serious injury once and I had to just lay flat on my back for months on end. And so you couldn't see how I was changing inside me. It was just like outside I was the same. Every day was the fucking same in a dark room. But I ended up absolutely transforming the inside of me during that time. I couldn't talk or anything or read, and then afterwards I had to go like, okay, I've completely changed. I had to go to therapy because I was like, I don't know how to make these changes happen in my life. So that's a little bit of where you're at. Like the inside of you is changing, and you may end up needing some help to manifest these changes in your actual life because it's going to be such a weird way of interacting with things and interacting with your life. So a little story about me. I probably wouldn't be doing this though if it hadn't had that period of time that was so extensive. And then at issue is the Fool. So at issue so the Fool is usually like leaping forward, mildly prepared. You're not totally prepared, but you're not completely unprepared. You know there's dangers, but you're ready to risk it. So in the reversal, which is what we take it as in this position, we're seeing we can see like a lot of anxiety about moving forward. So maybe you're a little bit more cooked on this and you need to start making these changes as you go forward, and you're paralyzed with fear because you don't know how that's going to look like. Like you've been still as the world has changed around you, and then this has changed your internal part too. But the other thing I'm getting from this card actually is not wanting to go forward, wanting to be more prepared than you are. But that's a little bit of the same vibe, that anxiety of seeing, of seeing all the dangers, and mostly the dangers of the path forward. You're just seeing the dangers and not the other things. So that can cause some people to be paralyzed with anxiety, and it can cause some people to like overly plan, overly calculate, overly try to figure out every eventuality and what could happen, and have a packing list and just be so obsessed with the packing list that they like never get around to packing and actually leaving. So this can be like you're being called out eventually out of this energy, forward onto a new adventure out of this graveyard, but you're not going forward yet. You're not moving, and if you are, you're moving in so much anxiety and so much fear. So I think this is like part of where this message is coming in is believe in the impossible. Believe that even though there are these dangers coming forward, and this journey ahead may be more difficult, you're only seeing the dangers in this card when the Fool's reversed. So maybe this is saying, you know, believe in the impossible. Believe that even though that's all you can see, it could be actually cooler than you think. So in the environment, you have a King of Cups. So I love this energy so much. You have someone in your environment that's really emotionally mature and probably can be a mentor to you through some of the issues you're going through. They can hold their emotional liquor. And I love this card because it is like his heart's on his chest. It's exposed because he can handle it. He can handle any emotion that comes. He can handle whatever comes by having an exposed heart. Here it is. It's out. But he's strong and he will defend his heart, and he can feel, you know, every feeling can come through him. He can drink that emotional liquor and he can hold it. He's not going to lose control. He's not going to, you know, fly off the handle or do anything too crazy. So this fear that this journey is going to be too crazy for you, this is like someone that's like, actually, I can handle it. I know what it is. I know what journey that you're on, and I can handle it, and I can mentor it. So this could, if you're looking at a partnership, which I don't really see a lot of indication that this is a relationship reading, it could be. Then this is saying that there is someone in your environment that is very emotionally mature and would be ready to go on this journey with you. So on your to-do list is the energy you're being called into is this King of Swords. This is a lot of clarity, very intellectual, thinking things through. So yeah, you are supposed to be thinking things through, but not overthinking things through, but very clear, very honest. He's got this very clear sword. It's decorative. It's beautiful. So the honesty you're dealing with here is a beautiful honesty. And I think, like, believe in the impossible. This is something that's so, you know, we're always like taught that honesty is brutal, the brutal truth, the harsh truth, the brutal honesty. It's horrible. And it's something to be afraid of. But more often than not, the truth is, especially heading out on a journey like this, like, you don't know what's going to happen, and you don't know bad or good. You don't know. So being honest about that is very important, and understand that you actually do not know where this journey is going to go at all. So, so it could be amazing. It could be miraculous, you know? So you're being called into some honesty and to to speak truth, and to have very clear thoughts, to be very clear. And that does not mean being paranoid or scared or looking at everything that can go wrong and seeing it as a certainty. That means, you know, being very honest about what you do know, what you don't know, and being very clear as you're communicating it, and bring some beauty to that honesty and that truth that you're experiencing, or that you're being called into. It's very loving energy. It's a very loving in truth. Oh, that can be so tricky though. Some people are like, I'm just telling you this because I love you. And they're like, it's like the most destructive thing a person could say, but they're going to tell you it's because they love you, but actually they want to keep you down. So it can be hard to sort out, but you've got this King of Cups energy. And I love that you have two kings here right next to each other. You've got King of Cups, King of Swords. I think this is like, it's kind of a friend energy vibe here, that you've got someone with you that's helping you through the emotional aspects, and you're being called to clarity and very clear thinking. Be very, very clear thinking. Okay, and then a possible outcome. Ta-da. We have the Santa Muerte card, the Santa Muerte herself here. Possibly my favorite card in the deck. We have, again, this decorative scythe, this harvest that's due, and she's very pregnant, and she's got this empty cradle here. So we are ready. We're prepared. You are in a sanctuary. Your inner demons are there, but they're under control. You are very hopeful for this future. The one will become two. You are this threshold. You will be this threshold. There will be this change. There is a threshold here. This possible outcome is this threshold, this massive change. These are both massive change cards. Just everything is going to change. So I think this isn't necessarily the energy you're in, but this is the energy you're headed into. And I think this is why you're really freaking worried and not wanting to go on this journey, is because you're seeing massive change here, absolutely massive change. And that can include a loss of control, a loss of you being completely in control of this situation. So this is, and in another deck, this would be the Death card. So this is, but here we have more promise. It's just a matter of time that this transformation is going to happen. And it's been long-awaited transformation, long-awaited. And yeah, are you going to lose something? Yeah, you're going to lose that belly. But you know what? And you're not going to be pregnant anymore. And is definitely a special time. But you're going to have this baby. And you wanted that. And you were waiting for it. And the ending, the rules are in our universe that when something ends, something new must come in. And maybe we don't always recognize it and see it in the moment. But it does come in. So this is really yeah, season of change. You're heading into massive change. You're scared. You're having a lot of anxiety. But you need to just be honest, and you need to honest with yourself. And that's a kind, gentle, beautiful honesty that you need to have with yourself and with the others around you. Be very clear in your communication. Look for a mentor here, and definitely believe in the impossible. It's in a blue moon. So, all right, Taurus, I hope you find that reading helpful. And thank you so much for your likes, subscribes, and comments. I really appreciate them on my newish channel. I don't think it's a newborn anymore. I think we're just a baby channel. It's just babies. It's just a regular baby. Yeah. All right. Have a great week.